Sic semper tyrannis, guys. Just wanted to make a quick video regarding SB16 in Virginia, Senate Bill 16. They're proposing the ban of specific semi-automatic rifles of magazine-fed type that have certain features like bayonet lugs and pistol grip and stuff like that. I just want to point out why this bill is unconstitutional. There's a lot of people that are saying it's unconstitutional, but they're not exactly saying why. I mean, they say things like shall not be infringed and yada, yada, yada. But I want to leave you with this Supreme Court ruling of 1939, and you can go look it up yourself. It was United States versus Miller, 1939. And it clearly, one of the Supreme Court justices made the point in this court case that the Second Amendment was specifically intended to protect military-grade small arms. Specifically. Other types of firearms, like shotguns and large-bore handguns that were not, or sawed-off shotguns, weapons that were not in use in the military, not commonly in use in a military, those were not the ones to be protected by the Second Amendment. Second Amendment was not intended for those types of weapons. The Second Amendment was specifically intended to protect the private ownership of military-grade firearms that were and are in common use within militaries throughout the world. And so this, you can look it up. It was United States versus Miller, 1939. And I may get a few of these words wrong, but the quote goes something like this. When called for service, speaking of the militiamen, when called for service, these men were expected to come bearing arms that they supplied themselves of the kind in common use. So they were expected to come with arms that they bought themselves that were commonly used in the military. So what are those rifles today? What are those weapons today? M16s, AR-15s, M4s, FNFALs, AK-47. The list goes on. They are, right now, the common military firearm, the common military small arm, is a magazine-fed semi-automatic rifle with a high-capacity magazine of at least 30 rounds. That is and was the intent of the Second Amendment, to protect the individual ownership of military-grade small arms. So no, this SB16 is illegitimate from its inception. It should not be complied with. All police officers, sheriffs, and law enforcement officers, judges, should take an oath, as they have already, in order to take their office. They should take an oath, and they should swear not to enforce this infringement on the Second Amendment. They should not comply. And if they do comply, they are, by definition, enforcing an unconstitutional law. It's not a law, but an unconstitutional act. And they can be held accountable. So, I want to leave you with that. And I think from now on, when we greet each other, we should start saying sic semper tyrannis. And when we say bye to each other, we should say sic semper tyrannis as well. So, sic semper tyrannis.